You don't feel broken, you just feel constantly distracted by everything around you. Your attention isn't gone, it's being pulled in too many directions at once. Every time you scroll, you drift a little further away from what actually matters. And the worst part is, you barely even notice it happening anymore. Time slips away quietly, without warning or any clear sense of loss. You tell yourself it's just one more minute, just one more quick check. But somehow it never actually stops at just one single minute. Your brain keeps asking for more again and again without slowing down. Not because you're weak, but because it learned to expect constant stimulation. Fast rewards and endless content are always available right in your pocket. And over time, this becomes the new normal inside your mind. What once felt exciting now feels ordinary and less satisfying than before. Your baseline shifts without you even realizing it's happening. Slowly, your brain adapts to this constant flood of stimulation. Until effort starts to feel strange, heavy, and almost unnatural. Focus begins to feel harder than it used to be before. Even simple tasks start to feel more exhausting than they should. Things you once cared about now feel harder to engage with. You sit down to work, but your mind keeps drifting away. You try to focus, but something keeps pulling your attention elsewhere. Your brain starts looking for something easier to engage with instead. Something faster, more familiar, and instantly rewarding to consume. Something that doesn't require effort, patience, or sustained attention. That's the loop your brain is currently stuck repeating every day. And it keeps reinforcing itself without you noticing the pattern. Not because you're lazy, but because your system is overloaded. Too much input has slowly reshaped how your brain responds to effort. And not enough control has been built to balance that stimulation. You've trained your brain without even realizing you were doing it. And now it simply follows the patterns it has learned over time. But the important part is, this pattern can actually be changed. Your brain is far more adaptable than it feels in this moment. It just needs space away from constant stimulation to recalibrate. Silence may feel uncomfortable at first, but that's part of the reset. Time without noise or distraction is what allows clarity to return. When stimulation drops, your brain begins adjusting its baseline again. And gradually, that clarity becomes easier to access and maintain. Not instantly, but in a way that becomes noticeable over time. Things that once felt boring begin to feel engaging again. Effort becomes something you can initiate with less resistance. Focus starts to feel more natural instead of forced. And control slowly returns to your daily decisions. Not through motivation, but through repetition and consistency. This is where your internal system starts stabilizing again. And where real, lasting change begins to take shape. At that point, you're faced with a simple but important choice. You can keep feeding the habits that keep you stuck where you are, Or you can begin interrupting that cycle with deliberate action. It doesn't require anything extreme or unrealistic to begin. It starts with something small that you can actually repeat. One intentional action is enough to begin shifting direction. One step forward, even if small, still moves you ahead. That's how real momentum is built over time. And from there, consistency becomes your biggest advantage. Those small actions begin compounding into meaningful progress. This is how you rebuild control over your attention and time. And how you stop reacting automatically to every distraction. Because your attention is one of the most valuable things you have. This is the moment where things can actually begin to change. And from here, what happens next is entirely up to you.